to the Mumpreneurs and K Lounge with me, your host Bianca Chappell, proud interviewer of some phenomenal mums in enterprise and women in business. Today in the studio we have Kelly Hopkinson from Kelly Hopkinson Yoga, who's going to share with us her journey of how she is stepping out of the classroom and stepping into her very own yoga studio as she builds her yoga practice from the ground up. Welcome to the studio, Kelly.
Thank you, Bianca.
So I would love to just dive straight in because you have or are going from making the migration, the transition from being a teacher to a yoga teacher. So tell our viewers just a little bit about where that was all come from.
So I originally went on my yoga training 18 months ago, or finished 18 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And everything kind of all came together at the right time for me to start my yoga training. So I was becoming a single mum at the same time. So it was kind of perfectly timed to keep me on track and provide a really big distraction, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And it just gave me all the tools that I needed to actually get over that and become my own person again and raise two little girls. Because I was very aware that I was their role model and they looked up to me, even though they were little, and everything that I did filtered down to them.
Yes.
So I was really aware of that. And that's not to say that I did it quickly or easily, but everything that I talk about now came from that time, came from that coping time, I think, and I tried it all.
Because life has a way of kind of bringing us through chapters of our story, doesn't it? And I guess it's a big chapter when a relationship ends, and as if that's not hard enough, you decided to completely have this rebirth of your true authentic self, and a big part of that has been starting your own business. Why yoga?
So I think yoga's always been something that I've gone to. That's been like a little safe place. Wherever I've been, I did lots of travelling, and wherever I went, that was something that I kept coming back to, kept enjoying, and then realised that it helped me a lot. It taught me a lot, and it got me back in touch when I had totally disconnected. So I think it was my go-to.
Kind of coping mechanism.
I think that's what it started like, definitely. And then I realised that it could actually develop and enhance my life and not just get me through tough times.
Yeah. Yoga and mindfulness, Kelly, seems to be something that is a real current topic, you know, mental health. It seems to be okay now. And certainly here in the UK, we are very okay with tapping into, I guess, what some people would say would be alternative ways of just being more balanced and more reconnected. And I know mindfulness and yoga kind of walk along the same sort of path, don't they?
Yeah.
For our viewers that maybe have heard of it, and even with yoga, but may not understand what mindfulness is and what yoga really is, how would you describe it? Because I think a lot of people think it's kind of down a spiritual path, and for many people it's just a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are they? What is mindfulness and what is yoga?
So I really love that question, because quite a lot of people come to my classes or have a chat with me and they say, well, I can't do yoga and I don't have time for mindfulness. That's normally their things. I can't do yoga because I can't cross my legs or touch my toes, and I'm terribly inflexible. We're so hard on ourselves. Really very, very self-critical.
Yeah.
So yoga is a part of your life. You can make it a part of your life. And I tell you the things that yoga isn't.
Yes.
Yoga isn't getting up before your children and before the sun comes up to practice for an hour with candles on, beautiful music. It isn't that. And it doesn't have to be a strong practice. You don't have to know all the names of the poses. Yoga can be a 10-minute moving your body around safely, moving your joints in a way that they are supposed to be so they don't get stuck. Mindfulness, exactly the same thing. Again, it doesn't have to be sat in lotus position in some tangled up way, meditating for an hour. It is a few little mind breaks throughout the day, little moments, and that could last a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever works for you, I think.
It's about understanding that it is something that you can, I guess, personalise. I'm really glad that you touched on that, Kelly, of, yoga isn't about having candles everywhere, because I think in a world where you and I have spoken so much before about connection and disconnection online, and we have a little love affair with disconnecting from the online space because it can get so noisy. But a lot of people do assume that when you want to, especially busy mums, yoga is about creating this perfect platform. And actually, what I'm hearing, what you've said, it's not. It's just about finding a time in space that you can just stop.
That's
completely
exactly
just stop and just enjoy being you in your own space. So I'm really interested to understand a little bit about your mumpreneur journey, Kelly, because you are mum to two, doing it on your own whilst running your business. How has the journey of actually building your business so far been?
So it's been really up and down. So that typical thing of 3 steps forward, 4 steps back is my life. That's what it feels like.
And most of us. Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So to be honest, I am really easily inspired. I am inspired by so many different people, and I have loads of ideas. And those ideas kind of got into my business a little bit, but there was not the action to follow those inspirational journeys. So now I really focus on, and I do it in my classes as well. Yes, I want to inspire people like I've been inspired, but I also want to teach them, and I want to empower them to take those teachings into their life. Yes. And there's a few women in my life that have done that, you being one of them.
Make me blush.
Being able to empower me to actually go, okay, this is all I've learned. I know a lot of stuff, and I want to not just teach it and then see them again next week. I want it to kind of like a ripple, like a little ripple effect. They take it out into their life.
Yeah.
So I would teach a mindfulness practice. Mindfulness is just bringing attention to the moment. Meditation is a little bit different, like kind of blocking everything out, but we notice our thoughts in mindfulness. So I think it's a little bit kinder, perhaps. So I would give I'll do a mindfulness practice and then say, this is how you could do it in your own life. And then it's up to the people that come to my classes to go, I'll take that and I will go and put it in.
You're so right, especially online in social media, on all the different platforms. Everything now is about inspiring and, as I say, aspire to aspire or aspire to inspire. And it's really easy actually to get caught up with all the different moments of inspiration. And actually, it can overwhelm you because you don't know what to do with the resources that you have. So when you are understanding of how to be more mindful, I guess that's the perfect opportunity to absorb some of the things that you've resonated with, that you see online, that you see about the day, pick up in conversations, and just give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back and just settle. So Kelly, you have had, I know it's early days for you in your business, but you've had some great achievements in business, TEDx being one of those. Let our viewers know about that, because that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I think at the time I didn't quite appreciate that. So I did a lot of work for TEDx back in April. The build-up was months and months of preparation. But then when it actually came to the day, I realised how far I had come, because I used to be very nervous, very self-critical. I used to question every decision I ever made and go over and over it. But actually on that day, I realised how far I'd come, because I don't think you can just let go of stuff so quickly. I think it takes time and slowly. Otherwise, it didn't mean maybe as much as you maybe thought. So on that day, I wasn't on until the evening, until 5 o'clock. So I had a whole entire day of being completely inspired, and I was fully in it. So
in space,
exactly,
in that zone.
And I talk about mindfulness, I talk about yoga, and for about the first year of my business, I was talking a really great game, if I'm honest, and I wasn't embodying it myself. So I would teach about mindfulness, I would inspire, but it didn't come from a place of, I do this. It's really tricky. I've tried this and this. Maybe try this. It worked for me. And that all changed over and around that time. So now everything that I say and everything I talked about at TEDx completely comes from my heart.
It's you. It's authentic.
And I do it, and I say the things that don't work for me, and you could try this instead. So it was an amazing experience, and I got my message across, I think, about self-care and just how easily, if you commit to it, you can add it into your life.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about adding that into your life, because I know you're going to give us some tips of how to implement simple yoga techniques, perhaps mindful techniques, into your everyday life. Things that you can do in the chair.
Exactly. In a chair when you wake up in the morning. And I think it's all together. So there's self-care, there's mindfulness, and there's yoga, and they don't have to be separate.
Yes.
That's a big thing. And they can be incorporated very simply if you commit to it, though.
Yeah.
So I've read all the books. I've bought all the
So
books.
you know what you're talking about.
And some of them weren't worth reading, and some of them really were. So yes, so you can do some very simple things.
Yeah.
So mindfulness is paying attention on purpose. It's as simple as that.
Oh, I like that. Paying attention on purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah.
So you set yourself a time. So mindfulness doesn't have to be sitting meditating. I could do a mindful walk to pick my children up.
Yeah.
To do that, I must leave my phone at home.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm distracted. I'm paying attention to everything around me, to the noises, to all my senses. And that's 10 minutes there and back.
Yeah.
And on the way back, it's challenging.
Well, we've got kids in tow. Yeah.
But my 10 minutes, that's my mindfulness time
Yeah.
for that time. There is a way that you can do it in your day. A lot of people do sit for quite a long period of time. And you can bring your attention to your breath by taking your hands onto your thighs and be nice and grounded. Lift up nice and tall. Drop the shoulders and bring all of your attention, so as if it was a spotlight of a torch, all of your attention to simply your breathing. So if hands here doesn't work, you can take your hands onto your heart and your belly, breathing deeply in, deeply out. So imagine an inhale. This is yoga as well as mindfulness.
I'm feeling quite relaxed just watching you, Kelly. Just taking time to just stop and just watch you.
Breathing in, imagine everything expanding. Expanding is a great word. And exhale, let go.
Yeah.
And if this doesn't work and hands grounding down don't work, and you've got children that you would quite like to do this with, petal breathing is beautiful. Palms facing up, all of the fingertips together. And as you breathe in, the petals of the flower open, expand. As you breathe out, let go, bring the petals together. So you could be doing it like we do as a 3. My girls they're doing it. They're quietly sitting. I am expanding and letting go. They're not. They're opening their petals of their flower and closing them. Simple as that.
It's very metaphorical, isn't it? And when you can understand yoga practices and mindful practices metaphorically, it takes away the preconception that you have to be this human elastic band. Because this is really simple stuff. The school run, it's time that we all have, especially when you're a mum in enterprise.
And in the morning, waking up a little bit slower. So generally we have a noise of some kind waking us up. But that noise doesn't need to be responded to in a millisecond. So taking a moment to stretch out, roll onto your side, get up slowly, maybe even like rock the head side to side. Taking a moment, 30 seconds, 3 deep breaths, expanding, letting go, is enough to change your state of mind. Especially if you take that moment to pause. Bedtime, just as important as getting up. Ending your day, perhaps with feeling thankful or finding gratitude for something that happened in your day. 3 things, that's all. And going to bed quietly and slowly.
It just gives you an opportunity to have an awareness of the ways that you can just implement very, very basic tools and tips into your life to just be a little bit more balanced. Kelly, thank you. Thank you today. I don't know about you, but I'm just the interviewer and I feel a little bit calmer just listening to you. So thank you so much for coming into the studio today. There are lots of ways that you will be able to connect with Kelly because you are all over social media, Kelly.
I am. And you know what? We give ourselves a hard time with social media, don't we? But I, for one, use correctly, and I've done a lot of work on this. It's okay. I'm not going to apologise for it anymore. It's okay. And it's a way of inspiring, teaching, empowering. So I am Kelly Hopkinson Yoga on all of those platforms. And you can find me, and connecting with people is one of my favourite things to do. If you've never done it and you're brand new, one of my favourite people.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Kelly. It's been a delight having Kelly in the studio with us today, sharing all sorts of tips and tricks on how to be more mindful and implement yoga into your daily life. I have been Bianca Chappell, host of the Mumpreneurs MK Lounge, and there is lots of ways that you can get involved here with the Mumpreneurs MK Network. For more information, do visit our website www.mumpreneursmk.co.uk, or if you have been inspired by guests like Kelly in today's episode, we have got lots of episodes for you to feel more inspired by lots of women and mums in enterprise on their entrepreneurial journey. So do be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can get notified of when we have new episodes coming along, and check out also the episodes that follow this one. There is lots of ways to inspire you to step into your own power. For now, I've been Bianca Chappell. Thank you so much for coming into the studio, Kelly, and we look forward to seeing you on that episode soon.